Hey guys, what's up? Bob here. Welcome to a new deck profile. This is going to be for my Demise deck that I took to locals the other day. This is just a deck that, for a little while anyway, is still going to be decent, and it's just a deck that I like to run. So, let's go ahead and show it off real quick. I did win at locals, but it wasn't like the win that, you kind of want. It's just, it was one of those things where it was like, a lot of the better players were at regionals, so I didn't get to play them. But I still played some fun guys and, won. So that was cool. I didn't actually lose any games all day. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up the deck profile. First off, we've got Scout and Monolith, obviously, the two amigos. Definitely going to be one to run in both of these. They're really important. Next up, two Carrier. Being able to bounce stuff off of the field is super duper handy. So we run two of him. And in my opinion, the better of the two, actually, three Helix. Just being able to pop back row, even more important than bouncing monsters. So, I just like it. So, triple Helix, that was a recent addition. It was two Helix and a disc, but I was running out of monsters, so I figured that adding a third Helix would be better. Next up, we've got Stealth and Shell, and that's actually it for the monsters. Obviously, Shell going to be pushing for damage, and Stealth popping, or like bouncing a monster, or spell or trap. You can bounce anything. So that's cool. Anyways, yeah, that's my monsters. So, moving on, we've got triple Card of Demise. Triple Card of Demise is going to really help just chewing through your deck, obviously. Then triple Duality to help you get to your important cards. Double Into the Void. Goes well with Demise and just generally. You could run three, but I liked the ratios of my other stuff, so I just figured no point in running an extra, dropping one to run an extra draw card. Then, one copy of Upstart. So, obviously, a lot of draw cards. Then, double Summoner's Art. Summoner's Art searches searches Scout and Monolith. And obviously, you're going to be wanting to do that. Then, one Sacrifice. One Stormforth. One Raigeki. And two Necro Valley. Now, a lot of people were really shocked when I put that on the field, because they're like, you're not running Gravekeepers. But it's just a great floodgate, preventing your opponent from, accessing their graveyard and stuff. And also, it doesn't hurt you at all, just because you don't use your graveyard. And it's really nice because it goes in the field zone, so it leaves you still 5 back row spots. So it actually really helps in a lot of different regards. Just like not having to discard cards at the end of the turn and stuff. But anyway, that's it for the spells. So, yeah, I like that little lineup. So, I'm very happy with that. Next up, for traps, we've got, in my opinion, the best floodgate that this deck has to offer. Skill Drain is an absolutely beast card. Just being able to negate the effects of every monster on the field is really, really brutal. So, I thought that would be a good option. Then Vanities, obviously you always want Vanities. Triple Lose One Turn. Now, Lose One Turn is just fantastic. You're able to completely shut down, quick decks. Anything that wants to put a lot of resources on the field, like using monster effects. Everything's in defense mode, so you're not going to get OTK'd, and you can, push for damage and stuff. So, or you can, poke for stuff, especially if you, tribute for a shell. It's like, oh, cool, all your stuff's in defense mode, I do piercing, so just pop, pop, pop. Next up, we've got a little Solemn Brigade. Obviously, these guys are a risk because you are paying a lot of life points with Scout, so use wisely. And a Bottomless because you don't have to pay life points for it, which is relevant. And then 2 copies of Drowning Mirror Force. Obviously, you're going to want to be kind of keeping, you don't have a ton of board presence, especially early, so being able to just flip this over and completely, put your opponent back a few steps in their plan is going to be really handy. It is a little slow, but it's just such a good, such a good trap. And then, of course, you need to have a clear board for that, so double Soul Transition, fantastic card for when you're kind of just going first. You want to have some, maybe a carrier, carrier or Helix or whatever. If you just normal summon it as a level 4, you flip this over during your opponent's turn, tribute it, pop one of their back row or bounce one of their monsters, draw 2. It's just great. And then, last but not least, we've got our 2 Qwilfart traps. We've got 1 copy of End and 1 Change. Now, the reason for these 2, Clive's End is really good for protecting your scout and stuff. As long as scout's already on the board and you are able to activate this. The only problem with it is that it is a little bit like, if your scout gets blown up and you're only running Clive's End, which I've seen a couple of people do, it doesn't help, because scout's in the extra deck. So Climate Change just goes well with that, just being able to get it back. And both of these actually were relevant in my duels. So, I like them both. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over the side deck before I do the extra deck, because the extra deck is completely irrelevant, except for certain side cards. So, yeah, we're going to do that. So, I am siding Reapers. Now, the reason for this, I know it's a Demise deck, and you end up, pitching your hand at the end of the turn a lot, but at the same time, it is still worth running Reapers, in my opinion, just because you're able to, especially if you're going second, which you usually are, if your opponent is, if they know what you're running, and you're up against, BA or something, and you draw this turn 1, you can just completely kill them. It's one of those things that your opponent will make you go second if they know what you're running, so that's a good card to have. So I think it's important. I really do. Obviously, I know there is a risk inherent in, running it, but I just think it's good enough that it's definitely still worth running. So, we're running 3 of it. Then 2 MSTs. Galaxy Slide Clone is generally better, but you have to pay life points, and like we already discussed, paying life points is something you're already doing a lot of, so I don't necessarily want to burn more life points. That's just a personal choice. And obviously Twin Twister is usually better, but you are running a Demise deck, so you might not have cards in your hand, so it might just be a dead card. Then we've got 2 Dark Hole. Obviously, board wipes are handy, especially in the Zoo format. Then, this was just kind of a random thing, Book of Eclipse, and I have a limiter removal as well. Just kind of in the same vein of, one-ofs that you could just side in addition to other stuff, and just kind of have handy card stout stuff. So, I don't know. It's not necessary. This especially, if you're not maining it, it might not even be necessary, but I thought it would be good to have access to. Then for traps, we've got Light Imprisoning Mirror, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, because BA and Blue Eyes and stuff, and other stuff obviously, but those are relevant at my locals, so it's a thing. And then 2 Rivalry of Warlords. Rivalry can be relevant in certain matchups, it depends. A lot of rogue stuff at my locals, so. Anyway, yeah, that's that. That's my side. I sided once on Saturday. I sided in some Light Imprisoning Mirrors against Herald, and it helped. Then last but not least, the extra deck. We've got this one, one of these, a set of these guys, and then Reaper targets, specifically this one, 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 and this one. Yay! It's completely irrelevant. I didn't run into anything that I had to side any of this stuff for when I was at locals. My locals is so for that. No, it's not, but it's nowhere near as big as a lot of the other people that I know. Especially Ryden, he's saying about oh yeah, it's a locals, it's 50 people. It's we've got what? Maybe 20 on a good day? But I don't know. It just stuff that I wanted to have because it's relevant. Anyway, yeah, that's Qwilfarts. It's trap deck. Look at all the traps. Look at them all. Cool. There's actually technically one more spell than there are traps, but whatever. Anyways, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.